had noticed that he had reached out to me to book me on his show, and he was kind of butthurt that I ghosted him all this time. And in this video, he claims here that he never reached out to a booker and that I'm lying about it.
I think we have the screenshots here, right? Yeah, we have the screenshots where he reached out to me and said that he wanted to do a debate, just him and I. Yeah. I said, okay. He said, what will it be? I agreed to the terms. Then there were some emails. I don't know if you had the emails there. There were some emails that, again, went back and forth where they said, hey, what do you want to do? We'll get on a call. It'll just be you and I.
Got him!
And the saddest part about this is that is it just me or did Ethan just, he's like, you said I was a layup? Yeah, let me prove it. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, Sam Seder. What a nightmare.
Debate him, Stephen.
Yeah. Let me confirm now.
Exactly. And the only thing that they have is like, oh, you didn't expect that I was going to bring in someone else. Okay. Well, that's exactly what I expected. I bet this guy's going to do anything he can to avoid actually debating. I don't think this guy wants to do this. I wouldn't be surprised if he's probably going to bring someone else on who's his producer, like a fan of that Seder character. Oh, no, Sam Seder.
Oh, my God. We nailed him.
It's over.
You're very welcome, and I just want to say, I know you called me, you said that I would be a layup.
I think I used something like that.
And I think you're right.
Crowder had the opportunity to debate this with somebody who is serious about it and wanted to debate with him. I did nothing but, approach this with a respectful manner.
Wait a minute.
I did nothing but, approach this with a respectful manner.
Flashback.
Oh, there he is. Oh, no, Sam Seder. What a nightmare.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave, remember
I did nothing but, approach this with a respectful manner.
Voy a la playa, había subido la marea.
Really, the issue is Ethan's wife, because it's your job to try and beat the cowardice out of your husband, because you're gonna have a little boy.
Well, on the scale of disappointing encounters, I suppose it would depend where your allegiances lie. If you're a Ethan Klein fan, you think it was an epic troll and he totally pwned Cope and C, the rightoids. If you're a fan of Steven Crowder, you probably are questioning just how Ethan Klein can call Steven Crowder a coward after lying to his face, asking him to debate one-on-one, agreeing to no shenanigans, and then doing just that. The only winner here, obviously, is Sam Seder, gaining about 30,000 subscribers overnight on what appears to be a mostly dead YouTube channel. If you're a fan of good debate, you didn't get any of that. You got mostly personal pot shots from both parties and a breach of a gentleman's agreement from Ethan Klein, something I'm surprised anyone thought he would follow through with. Ultimately, this is a failure from Jump Street. I don't want to hear cope and seethe from the left about how Ethan Klein totally duped Steven Crowder, because this is just a regurgitation of the ends justified the means. Ultimately, what you have here, my friends, is Ethan Klein being a slime ball and people on the left celebrating it because they don't like Steven Crowder. It's disingenuous at best, pathetic by my definition, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. When you look at, these are the actual DMs, okay? Let me be very clear. Ethan Klein reached out and asked Steven Crowder for his time. Hey, Steven, I'm down to debate. It could be fun, maybe about the coof. Since the Dr. Fauci says mask thing started this all, I'm open though. Let me know how you want to do it. So to be clear, Ethan reached out, asked Steven to debate, in my opinion, either the entire time lying the entire time, which makes him a coward and pathetic, Or once Steven Crowder agreed, quickly finding a substitute, which is even worse. Steven replies, "Hey man, thanks for reaching out. Again, Ethan Klein asked for this. I do appreciate it. Really. Anyone who enters the arena has my respect, and I'll be sure that's reflected on air. If you send your email, I can have Darren reach out and set it up. Easiest would probably be just to tape it on Skype either this week or next, based on some travel stuff. You can use it too, the clips, if you want to run it unedited, obviously. No tricks, no zags, just you and me." Again, Ethan Klein agreeing, just you and me. "I'll make sure none of my buddies are in the studio to be any kind of distraction. We can talk about the disagreement that we fundamentally had initially on trusting authoritative sources to be what degree. It's very clear to me that Steven Crowder's being polite, and I believe strongly that he thought Ethan was going to come on in good faith." Ethan replies, "Yeah, those are good topics. Could we do one debate on our show and one on yours?" Meaning, would you come on H3? Yeah, your producer, though. He can email my guy, Dan. Gives Dan his email. He's my producer. They can work out the times. "Oh, I see. We'll have one debate we can both use. That's cool. I'm down for that. Sounds good." Which means, of course, he's saying like, okay, now we can both use the same clips. And then he goes on to show the actual emails that they exchanged. Go back to that. Hold on a second. So you see, Ethan is the one that reached out. So anything that happened past the deception is null and void. Ed Seder, I don't know who this Sam Seder guy is. I know he made an uncouth joke a million years ago that got him fired from his job. It was clearly a joke. Not exactly a joke I think is funny, but is definitely a joke, and I don't think he deserved to be fired for it. I don't know anything about him. What I do know is this is a guy that has hounded people like Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder, all to go on their shows, and he has been declined by all of them. I don't know what their individual reasons are, but it must be something. I mean, Joe Rogan isn't exactly afraid of bringing people on his show. Dave Rubin, I'm not sure. Sam Harris, Ben Shapiro. Again, these are a lot of people declining their platforms to somebody, so I'm curious why that is. Now, one explanation for this, a lot of Cope and Seeth crowds are saying, "Oh, yeah, he's afraid. Let me explain how this actually works. It is a dynamic that isn't like probably readily explained in a lot of these. So you get a guy like Sam Seder. I'm not familiar with his content, only just got brought up to me. And so what I've learned from him about him is he's very similar to many of the ambulance chasers that follow my channel. There's about 3 or 4 of them that have maybe 30 or 40 videos on me. I have no problem with the existence of these videos. That's why I've never flagged any of them down. That's why I've never claimed any of them. But their obsession is legendary. Now, hey, I've got no room to talk with 100 videos about Brie Larson. That's okay. However, when somebody is constantly pestering you, hey man, hey, you want to debate? Cope and Seeth, what are you afraid? Eventually, the human nature as a creator is simply to say, nah, dude, I don't have any time for you. You clearly are desperate for attention. I don't want to give it to you. So, this is probably why people don't give Sam Seder a platform. If there's some unknown reason that I don't know, okay. But I'm guessing he's no different than, channels that make numerous videos on me, desperate for my attention. Hey, I'll tell you what, if Brie Larson agreed to have me on her channel, I'd go too. So I understand how the game is played. Putting my channel name and their much smaller channels' video titles is really important to them. And then it was important to me to do the same thing when my channel was smaller. And to put H3 and Steven Crowder in the title of this video is helpful for me as well. So I understand how the game is played, but that doesn't change how human nature is. And human nature says that if somebody's annoying the crap out of you, you generally don't want to spend time with them. But what a lot of these leftoids think is that's a total W. Cope and Seeth, you're totally afraid. Why are you running, bro? It's just, you annoyed somebody to a point where they don't want to give you the time of day. And let's be honest here, a lot of people also getting upset about Crowder's comments about, Sam's channel being much smaller and it's not really worth it. Well, I looked at his channel. It's not that small. He's got 1.07 million subscribers, so it's basically the same size as my channel. He produces a lot of videos. Some of them are duds. I mean, having 1 million subs and only getting 7,000 views, that's brutal. A lot of these views, just, 3,000, 9,000, 20,000, 6,000. So it looks like it's a relatively dead channel, but maybe he just makes it up with volume. I produce a lot of videos too. And of course, his video about H3 gained him 113,000 views, his biggest video in as long as I can see. I mean, imagine 2.2 thousand views. How do you get that few views on a channel with 1 million subs? I mean, that's like unfathomable. That's like Young Turk's numbers. Maybe this is just a dumping ground and he's got a popular podcast or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to say anything personally about Sam. But I guess this guy makes a lot of content trying to get right-wing pundits' attention, and they don't want to give it to him. I understand that. But ultimately, Sam is the only one that wins here. If you look at his YouTube channel, this has basically been a dead channel, gaining 30,000 subscribers in the last, I don't know, 8 months. But now 20,000 or 10,000 yesterday, 20,000 days. So congratulations to Sam. I don't know if I would feel like that's a win. I think it's pretty sad that when so many people don't want to talk to you and then you have to weasel your way in, you have to like Trojan horse your way into the conversation. I don't actually see that as a W. I see that as pretty pathetic. The fact that Crowder never would have platformed him any other way, so he had to use Ethan to get on. Like, that's just slimy and sad. I mean, good. It worked for him, so I'm sure he is laughing. But, ultimately, I don't think it's the W that a lot of people think it is. And then Ethan, now that the DMs are out there, it's not like the gauntlet was thrown down and Ethan accepted. No, Ethan reached out and then went through emails and setting up the show. By the way, Ethan saying that Crowder reached out to him. No, that wasn't how it worked. And you see, I would ask that you stick to the details that Ethan agreed to in the DM with Steven. We never play gotcha with these same things and would expect the same. Excellent. We will speak then. This Daniel guy, obviously, part of the scam too. And ultimately, for Ethan to slam Steven Crowder as a coward for leaving podcasts early, what? Look, nobody, and I mean nobody, is entitled to your time. I would not have held it against Steven Crowder if the second Sam Seder popped up on that podcast, he had just terminated the call, because that is not what they agreed to. There's a million different, it's like Ethan challenging Steven to fight at the flagpole after school and then having someone else show up. It's just pathetic. And the fact that you would dare to call anyone a coward is even worse. This is, of course, Ethan with that smug, he thinks he won, but nobody outside of Ethan's camp thinks he won, and nobody inside of Steven's camp thinks he lost. That's why these things are generally pointless. Do I think Steven could have handled it better? Probably. But also, do I think that Steven Crowder or that Sam Seder is entitled to Steven's time? No. Do I think that Ethan is entitled to the benefit of the doubt anymore going forward? Absolutely not. At the end of the day, Ethan Klein is who we thought he was, a slimy coward on the downward, desperate for anything, any level of drama to continue his channel, which is thriving, by the way. So it's obviously working for him. I guess great job proving to everyone that you're not worth the time. I think the problem with Ethan is now that he's gotten older, he's gone from the meme guy, the funny guy. He really desperately wants to be seen as an intellectual and a smart guy, but he's just not. And that's okay. you know, look, I know my role. I'm not a high-level political analyst. That's why I don't talk about politics that specifically on this channel. And Ethan desperately wants to be, you know, accepted by guys like Hassan and all these other leftoids, when he's just really not on that level. Maybe he could get there if he actually worked at it, but I don't think Ethan's been putting hard work into anything for maybe the last 5 or 6 years. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.